Here's a close-up of the string tree of this 12 string. Now there's 8 holes here, 2, 4, 6, 8. The strings are fed into those 8 holes. The low E string is free on its own, and so is the high E string on this side.
Hello, and thank you for watching Guitar How-Tos.
Down at the bridge, we have our saddle screws here, which will adjust the height of the strings. We have dark and chrome, dark and chrome. The dark ones are for the thin strings. We have some screws to adjust the forward and backward motion of the saddle. And then, of course, we have these screws which will adjust this entire saddle for both sets of strings. That's why you need a separate one for one set of strings, which is this one right here. On this side of the bridge, we have small holes over here, 6 of them, and those 6 holes receive the thin strings. The thicker strings are fed through these ferrules on the back of the guitar. As you feed the thicker strings through the back of the guitar, the string will come up through these openings right here. And that is why these holes are offset a little bit. They're not directly underneath this screw. It's off, in this case, from my angle, it's off to the left. So once complete, we have one string here and another string, the thicker string, over here. These are the strings we'll be putting on this guitar today. Diodario's 10 through 46, 12 string set. Let's take a look at the gauges so we know what we're doing here. Okay, of course, there's 12 strings, of course. So we have a 10 and a 10 for the high E. This is the B string. This is the G string, thick. G string, thin. D string, the thick, the thin. A string, thick, thin. And the low E string, thick and thin. It may be to your advantage to have a few 8-gauge strings in your guitar case. That is the one that is subject to break most often. What I really like about this brand is this chart. This gives you all the specifications of each string, and what I particularly like is the amount of tension that's on here. So they tell you how many pounds each string once tuned will pull on the neck. I'm going to cut this chart out and keep this in the guitar case. And it's certainly helpful to have the ball ends of the strings color coded. And as this indicates, this group here is for a normal set for 6-string guitar, and over here we have 7 and 8 strings and their color codes. And there they are. If you look carefully here, each pair shares a color. This makes it a lot easier so not to mix up the strings. So we have the silvers over here, of course, the golds, we have the greens, the reds, the blacks, purple. So this is going to make this job a whole lot easier. I like to lay my strings out first. We have the high E, the B, G, D, A, and low E pairs. Now when they are packed in order. So I wouldn't suggest going in there and just tearing through the strings. I would just grab hold of the ball end and set each pair aside. Today I'm going to start with a high E string and work my way over to the low E string. Now, which string goes where, of course? Let's take a look at this. Despite the gauges of the E and the B string being the same, they're duplicates. You still have to feed one from the back and one through the hole over here. So this one is going to be the top string. So just by looking at the bridge, I'm going to just share with you that the top string on Fenders is the high-pitched string. And the ones that you feed in from the underneath the guitar, from the back of the guitar, are the thicker strings. So if these two are the same, despite the same gauges, you still have to feed them through as if one string is thick and one string is not. So if I want to go in order, I want to feed this high E string from the back of the guitar, and then the next one from here in the front of the guitar. Now, of course, it'd be easy to load all the high strings first, which you can do. The risk, or the thing that you have to be careful with when you do it that way, is making sure that they get to the correct spot over here and over here. I already unwound the two strings and I have them laying flat next to one another, next to the guitar over here, just off camera. So here I want to take this string and feed it through the back of the guitar. The high E string is over here. So here's where the string came out, right in this slot, just as expected. This string does not get fed through the string tree. This one's on its own here. So I'm going to pull the string, take the slack up. I think I'll go up 3 posts. Here we are, 3 posts. Here's where the string is going. 1, 2, 3. Pull this back. Now we want to cut the string. Now on the plain strings, it's okay to cut them. On the wound strings, which I'll get to when we get to that, I prefer to bend the string first. Let's take a look how deep I went. Looks like 3/4 of an inch or so. So we put the string in the hole, bend it, and start turning. Start turning the tuner. This one goes through a little hole here. And you notice I push the string down. That makes the string go like up in the air, like this. So it doesn't get caught up in the bridge. I'm going to take the next string. It's going to go here. You can go up 1, 2, 3. You can go up a little more than 3 because, of course, some of the string is going to get lost inside the hole. Let's put the string in the hole. Give it a bend. Take your toothpick that you broke the tip off of, put it in the hole along with the string. It's the perfect size to keep that string in place while you're wrapping it around the post. I want to guide this with my index finger. And we want to put this in the correct slot in the nut. And once complete, we can remove the toothpick gently. So you don't want to pull the string out. There you go. Perfect. Onto the B string. Let's unwrap our string. And this one gets fed from the back of the guitar. Okay, you want this in the back here. Kind of poke around a little bit, in and out, till it goes through. You can check it on the other side. Make sure it's coming through in the correct spot. Pull this through. This string gets fed into this hole right here. This is the target post. 1, 2, 3, a little bit more. Sorry, here. String in the hole. Bend it over to the side. Put your toothpick in here. Put your toothpick in the hole. And there you go. There we are. Beautiful. You have these at a diagonal. So the thicker strings go on the top. Thinner strings go on the bottom. Okay, now the wrap strings get treated a little bit differently. This is your target right here. This is the target post. So like before, we want to go down about 3 or 4 posts. And now this is where I differ from some other people. Some people just cut the string right here. I prefer not to do that. I prefer to bend the string. Now I'm not clipping it. I'm just holding this here so I can bend it. Don't squeeze this down. You don't want to clip the string. Now, why do I do that? Because some brands of strings, if you clip the string before it's bent, this wrap could come undone. And when that happens, that's the end of the fidelity of the string. It's an immediate dead string. Now, how far do we know how to cut this? Well, we know it's about 3/4 of an inch. So I want to cut this here. And that seems to be a good fit right there. I'm using the pointy side of a toothpick. Pull the slack through. And there we go. Now we have some nice looking wrap on here. Bye.